I wrote something in my journal recently when I was hiking in the mountains, and I'd like to share some of it with you. So this was a 16-mile hike, about 5,200 feet of elevation gain. Did it in a little under 8 hours, and it was a solo hike, so it was a good day. And the first thing that I wrote down was, after I had already summited 2 mountains, there's a really nice view on the third one. And when I got up there, the first thing that I thought was, is this it? And the next thing that occurred to me was, well, yeah, naturally, you started with the most challenging mountain. You took the most challenging route. It was the tallest mountain in the range. Started with that one. So, of course, things are going to feel easier. But also, I've hiked that range before, just not taking that specific route. And I felt like I hadn't earned that view yet, because it was only the third mountain. I had a few more to go, and then I was going to turn around and come back. So I knew that that view was going to be waiting for me. I just didn't feel like I had earned it yet. I hadn't worked hard enough. And the thing that I wrote down after that was, climb the hardest mountain first, Caleb. Climb the hardest mountain first. The next thing was that I need to be a better coach for myself. I'm a health coach, and I should know better. But as a health coach, I have the ability to instill confidence in my clients, help squash limiting beliefs, the stories they're telling themselves, hold them accountable, call them out on their bullshit. And I need to do a better job of that for myself, but also I need to temper output dials. I have this repeated pattern of going hard, getting a lot done, feeling highest of highs, and then just crashing, burning out, feeling like I don't have anything to show for the work that I put in. Like there's no like real goalposts. And part of the reason for that is I just don't have a set of output dials. I've got one that I'll turn up to 12. Everything else gets turned off until inevitably I run out of fuel. And so instead of having this one dial, I need to have multiple, and with a communication with myself upstairs, with a promise that, hey, I'm turning you down a little bit so I can turn this other thing up. I promise I will return, we'll reevaluate, I'll check in, we'll turn everything else back to where it was to get to a baseline. So that way I can maximize my discipline and productivity and consistency while also maximizing the recovery that's necessary to maintain that output. So I wrote this as a reminder. I promise I will not forsake you. I will always return. I love you. A little over halfway through the hike, I was summiting another mountain for the second time, and it's a pretty steep climb. And this sort of thing just came into practice, and wouldn't you know, it worked. The thing that I kept repeating in my head was, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. And I maintained the pace that I was at. Yeah, my heart rate and my breathing rate was pretty high, but I didn't stop until I got to the top of that mountain. And now this is something that I worked on through years of EMDR therapy and using Fraser's table exercises. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Essentially, it's just a way of naming the different parts of your brain that have different roles and visualizing them and giving it a name. So that part of my brain that was helping me push, that part is rage. And I felt rage take the driver's seat while the other parts took a back seat and allowed for rage to do the work. But once I got up to the top of the mountain, I returned back to a baseline. Next thing is something that makes me uncomfortable to talk about, and I am still struggling to articulate it, so bear with me. Through my recovery process after the motorcycle accident, I've learned a lot about myself, and it broke me to my core, having not been able to do any of the things that provided me with meaning. You know, up to that point, I thought I needed my physical capabilities to have it maintain a sense of meaning and purpose. And so through that whole process, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've gotten in touch with a deeper purpose of what I believe I'm meant to do. It's lead, inspire, and perform. So I'm also a musician. And it's been my dream since I can remember to perform on stage. Through my recovery process, I've been getting little puzzle pieces of refining that purpose, that dream, what that path looks like. There was one specific moment on this mountain where I just visually saw all of these puzzle pieces just float and connect and create one clear picture. I was broken so that I could relate to the broken. Now, here's the part that I struggled to articulate. I was raised in a Christian household, and I have, over the years, for many years, been staunchly opposed to religion and faith. I have lived many years being an angry person. And I think it's because at one point, this is something I'm very grateful for my parents for. At some point, felt the unconditional love that is preached about in Christianity. My parents embodied that. But as I grew older, as we all do, we experience hardships, and I felt betrayed and abandoned by the God that had been preached to me to be so understanding and loving, yet seemed so complacent with allowing me to endure so much pain. How could I trust or believe in that? But now I understand. I think God was just preparing me for what I meant to do. I started seeing these parallels, or I was drawing these correlations, and I'm just gonna preface this with, this is a metaphor that helped confirm what I already thought to be true. I was broken to my core, and I have scars on both of my wrists to show it. And I've always felt like I'm meant to lead and inspire, and I have the ability to love deeply and unconditionally. These things seem very similar to the story of Jesus, particularly when he was crucified and was resurrected. Now, I am not saying that I'm a God figure. I am saying this from the humblest of intentions. And on that mountain, I just prayed and said, God, if this is what I'm meant to do, I'm here for it. Please guide me so that I can do what you placed me on this earth to do. And as someone who has a hard time trusting and believing people, this is a really hard thing for me to accept, but on that mountain, it felt so real. So yeah, this post is a weird one, but it's a real one. I hope that as I continue doing this social media thing, that I can reach many people and help them along whatever their hardships are, whether it's from pulling from my life experience or as a health coach, or it could be from music. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you sticking with me on this one. So I'll leave you with the last thing that I wrote. Now go forth and slay many dragons.